Breaking right now, Republican Senators Ron Johnson and Rand Paul releasing the first batch of text messages from Dr. Anthony Fauci's government iPhone. In one exchange from January of 2021, Fauci, then CDC Director Rochelle Walensky, and then Surgeon General Vivek Murthy discussed COVID vaccination and pregnant women. Fauci flags a potential concern after the second dose, writing that many people experience, quote, significant cytokine storm and fever, and that this, quote, theoretically could be associated with miscarriage in the first trimester. Walensky responds, quote, definitely a good point, especially after dose 2. A cytokine storm is essentially when the body releases too many inflammatory signals that could cause high fever, inflammation, and in extreme cases, life-threatening illness. So this is just coming to light now, Sandra, that Fauci had these concerns. And I remember when I got the boosters, I developed pericarditis, then that went away. Then when I had the second booster, it came roaring back again. So, the body reacts differently to these things depending on who you are.
And how stupid you are. On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. No offense to John Roberts or whatever his name is. I don't know what his name is. That wasn't very smart. Like, if I do this thing and then I get sick, and then they say, hey, do that again. I'm like, but I got sick last time. And they're like, yeah, but don't worry about that. Go do it again. Okay. Oy, oy, oy. Right? I get it. People believed. And that's the tricky part. And, I would say probably maybe sometimes, I don't know, maybe it's a benefit, maybe it's not. But, when you just start from, I don't believe anything you say, and then it's like every once in a while, that actually kind of makes sense. All right, maybe I'll investigate. Right? Like if I break my arm, I definitely want to go see a doctor. He's going to fix it for me. I know that for sure. There's no ivermectin that's going to cure a broken bone. But there's a lot of other things that you shouldn't do. I had my interview with Mel K today. It was just I'll be honest, I was flattered. She remembered me. I met her at a Clay Clark thing forever ago once. I actually had her phone number too, which I thought was funny. We got set up in another way, but it was a very cool conversation. She wrote a really, really good book. Unfortunately, it's out of reach, but she wrote a really, really good book. It's in the back there. Infiltration without infiltration without whatever it is. It's hang on. I'll just make it easy for myself. Here it is. Infiltration instead of invasion. America was betrayed. Super good book. And again, I am plugging it. It was a really good book. I read all but the last, I think, 2 chapters, and I'm definitely going to finish the book. But she's an excellent reader. It is very well researched. It explains how the deep state got started. It explains how they've stayed in the shadow. It explains what Trump is dismantling. And she doesn't explain it all from today's context. She just gives you the information, and then you look at it with today's eyes, and you're like, crap. So anyway, I'll put another link in the description today for this just because it's cool. If not, go to themelkshow.com. Doing a big plug for her, but it was a great interview, and I frankly had a really fun time talking with her. Apparently one person doesn't like it, but whatever. Like that one person. That's what I think about that. A lot of times, actually, it doesn't even matter, so, bleh. Now, here is, drawing a blank on his name, McAfee. It's actually McAfee, I think, but whatever. People call him McAfee. I don't think it's alive per se. Might probably be, but I don't think these videos are coming from him. I think this is AI stuff maybe, but whatever the case is, it's a very appropriate video. Maybe it was just recorded a while ago. I have no idea.
How did the American shadow government come into existence? First, you have to understand what that shadow government is. It's a loose-knit collection of constantly warring factions within the American intelligence community, chiefly led by the CIA, the NSA, the Army, Navy, and Air Force intelligence. These groups have the true knowledge of what's really happening in the world. Do you think the media knows? No. Do you think even presidents know? Why should they? They're only there for 4 years, maybe 8. And then they're gone, and a new one has to be moved in and polished. No. Do you think if we had aliens, that they would tell the presidents about them? No. They don't have a need to know. So even presidents are given pablum as information by the intelligence services because The intelligence services are there until the people die. You never retire. And you know what's best for America if you are in one of America's intelligence services. Did we vote them in? Did we give them that power? No. But it is the power that they took. And how did this fucking happen? It happened in the 1950s, and Dwight Eisenhower warned us about this as he left office. The first president to go to war with the CIA, well, he survived. The next president who went to war with the CIA, John F. Kennedy, we know what happened to him. No other president has challenged the CIA. Why would you? The CIA would view you as a national security risk if you did not do what they asked. End of story, and thanks for listening.
1944 to 1954. Those are the years she wrote about specifically. He's talking about 1950. It's covered in there. This was kind of accidental. I found this. Flynn posted this, I guess. Well, it's his account over here. I don't trust anything in Telegram as far as being who they say they are. But it might be his son or his son. ICE is going to equip agents with these new crazy electric shock gloves to safely subdue violent suspects. Think about how rad that is. Taser and a glove. I just grab you and you're tased. Doesn't matter what you're wearing, as long as I can get anywhere near skin. I guess you probably got to be careful not to touch their face. But certainly if you grab an arm, it'll probably go through clothing, I would assume. They're going to start to have to wear some sort of weird body armor underneath, but it's ultimately just going to make them heavier and hotter, which might be cool. And then, I don't know, you put a bunch of metal on yourself just to try to shield yourself, and then someone throws a bunch of current through it. That might not work out. But anyway, I thought it was kind of cool. Thought it was kind of cool that they're making things a little more tricky for the deep state bastards. Trump had gotten some people into office. I'm pretty sure that's what I was planning on showing here. One, Darlene Graham advances. So we got that. South Carolina, she made it through for the Senate primary. For Minnesota District 8, Pete Stauber won. Wisconsin District 7, Michael Alfonso won. Minnesota District 6, Tom Emmer. Minnesota District 1, Brad Finstad. We've got, the Republican nominee for governor of Wisconsin is Tom Tiffany. He was able to get through. Wisconsin District 8, Tony Wyde made it through. Wisconsin District 6, Glenn Grothman. We've got Wisconsin District 5, Scott Fitzgerald. Wisconsin District 3, Derek Van Orden. Wisconsin District 1, Brian Stile. Minnesota District 7, Michelle Fischbach. And we've got Alabama District 2, Rhett Marquez. We've got Alabama District 6, Gary Palmer. Alabama District 1, Jerry Carl. And I believe, yes, and Darlene again. You will notice that nowhere in there, first off, there's not a lot of Minnesota that we made it through, by the way, which is interesting. Minnesota, I think, undoubtedly, and I'm hoping there will be information to suggest that, or proof, I should say. But Minnesota undoubtedly has an extraordinary amount of cheating going on. However they're doing it, maybe it's just the in higher a higher number of people that can vote that, can legally in Minnesota, and they can legally in Minnesota for the Minnesota governor. So Mike's kind of a little bummed on that one, but you got to wonder there's some other stuff going on in there as well. And certainly knocking out some of Trump's people would indicate that there is very, very deep, dark blue parts of Minnesota that we just apparently can't seem to shine a light into yet. Maybe that'll come, maybe it won't. We'll see. But Mike Lindell definitely did not make it seems. I don't think he's given up yet. I don't think he's done that. There were still votes to be counted, and he felt that he still had a chance. And he mathematically does. It would be wise of him to stick it out to the very end. They're already kind of calling it in a number of places, but Minnesota Speaker of the House, Lisa DeMuth, she's apparently the one that's won the Republican nomination for governor over Mike Lindell. So we still got a Republican in there. She used to be, I think, a sports broadcaster. Not sure anything about her. I think somebody made a comment in my Twitter feed. I was trying to figure out where she lived. She just made a blanket statement that we've put in a rhino, and I'm like, all right, where do you live? There's lots of rhinos. I don't know. Doesn't really. I mean, it helps, I guess. But so Lindell, I think, ran into a few problems, and I still think, without a doubt. And I played his speech. I thought his response to when he made the amnesty comment was a good one. I definitely tried to stick up for him, but I know how I felt when I heard it. I know how I felt when I saw it. I didn't believe it when I saw it. I then went and found the interview, and I was like, shit, he did say that. Damn. I even reached out to MyPillow, my contact over there. I mean, I have supposedly Mike Lindell's phone number, but I didn't want to bother him. There's no way in hell I was going to directly hit him up on that. And that was kind of how I found the statement they made, albeit a day later. I think it was a mixture of effing up, and I think it was a bit of cheatery going on. Whatever the case is, I hope that the person that's gotten through is good. I'm going to say we still don't really know what's up. We've got some news talking about the elections and judges shutting things down and all this. We're going to talk about this. We've got a little. I got the Constitution opened up. Did a little searchy search in there to figure out kind of what the hell they're talking about. Lisa DeMuth defeats Mike Lindell, though, from Minnesota. This is what AP said. Mike Lindell's like, I don't care what AP says. Get out of here. He says, let's see, where was this? Yeah, he says he truly loves Minnesota, and do I, and I want to bring it back from oblivion, embarrassment. Oh, this is Trump. Where did he say? Mike Lindell, the Pillow Man. He said something to the effect of that AP made the call, but he's like, why would I care what AP says? Whatever. Mike Lindell hadn't given up, at least as of recently. If he has, maybe he hasn't yet. But it doesn't look good for him, that's for sure. Now, sportscaster Michelle Tafoya secures GOP nomination for Minnesota Senate. Sorry, that's what I was mistaking the other lady for. Sports broadcaster Michelle Tafoya, she was projected to win. We'll see how that goes, but she got in there pretty handedly. I don't know if she beat one of Trump's people or not. Her nearest appointment was Adam Schwartz. Took a 23.3%. She's at 52%. I mean, just looks like, unless they do some really fun late-night voting, she probably ended up with that. Lindell alleges voting irregularities, refuses to concede. And I don't disagree. This is, I think, as of this morning. Yes. And as of this morning, he says there's 265,000 votes left to count. I'm down by 18,000 now. So, again, Mike not stepping down. Mike's certainly not somebody to back away from a fight. I would be shocked if those votes go in his direction. They could, though. They could. I'm not trying to be negative in any way, shape, or form. I know the establishment hates Mike Lindell with just about every fiber of their being. I would say hate it with every ounce of their heart, but we know they don't have one of those. So that place where that dark hole is inside their chest, that whole part hates him with every ounce of its ability. Far left Francesca hung. They hung her out to dry. I'm telling you that. Oh, shoot. I'll be here all week. Tip the waiters. Try the veal. Albeit she's cute, but she failed. Big time failed. She sucked so hard. Everything that came out of her mouth. Like, I don't know. Even Asians were probably telling her to shut up. You're like, you're making us look stupid. Stop it. So unfortunate for her. But yes, she is. I'm glad she didn't win. Don't get me wrong. Just unfortunate for her. Everybody thought she was going to make it. It was kind of funny. She didn't. She got smoked, in fact. She didn't even have a chance. And this, I forget who the individual was pushing hard for her, but whatever. He was kind of a tard, too. Another progressive-y, crazy guy. Longtime Democrat Rep. John Larson, 78-year-old. Like, probably time you retire anyway, Holmes. He lost. He was the establishment candidate. He was beat by a crazy progressive, at least in the Democrat side of things. So that's going to be interesting. So the Democrat progressive stuff, the communists, have made some ground. Now, they lost some races too. So they are not as strong as everyone wants you to believe. There is some cheatery, but we've got the establishment fighting itself a little bit right now. The establishment doesn't necessarily want, they want the communist thing pushed, but there are a number of people in the Democrat Party that now all of a sudden their toes are getting stepped on. and they're not happy about it. Oh, it's weird when it finally affects you, isn't it, you frickin' commie? Love it. Good stuff. This is Milwaukee's election official. They're blaming human error after 5 of 9 USB drives arrived to central headquarters without any results on them. Apparently, they just had logs. Huh. Isn't that strange? So 5 of 9 USB drives, just to do some simple math for you guys, that's a little over 50% of all the voting records weren't there. They had to go back to the precinct and re-download them. So this is Wisconsin, where they've got all these shenanigans going on as it is, and they still couldn't put their crazy Chinese Hong chick in the office. She came closer, I think, because of it, but still. So yeah, we'll play it with them.
There are two things. There's the audit log and the results. What we uncovered was that 5 of the sticks had the audit log downloaded and not the results. It's a human error. These things can happen. So basically what we need to do is go back to the operations center, and we're going to download out of those 5 machines the results and make sure that it's not the audit log.
Yeah, you guys are stupid. So more than half of your election results were incorrectly downloaded. So whatever kind of election you're running there, you obviously suck at it. Suck really bad. When over half of the results are done incorrectly, and there's already question as to whether or not there's certainty with your thumb drive anyways, now somebody had to drive on back over, re-get them. I wonder if you actually had the proper people with them, right, to make sure that what the accountability was met. Doubt it. Here is NBC reacting to this. The reaction's priceless. It'll leave you slightly uncomfortable because of the dead air. But you can tell he's just like, are you fucking shitting me? Is what's screaming inside of his head. And he's afraid if he opens his mouth, are you fucking shitting me is going to come out. And are you fucking shitting me is about the only thing you can say. Over 50% of the election results. Whoops. Sorry, made a mistake. In the most contentious election in our history. We've said this multiple times, but they keep getting a little crazier, don't they? Stakes keep rising, don't they? Anywho, you tell me how you feel about this.
I guess the exact thing, yes, is if 5 of the USB sticks were missing results from the election, so then they have to go try to re-grab them. Yeah, and they're all the folks behind the scenes are talking about this as well, so we can also look. It's unfortunate.
The folks behind the scenes here, you're saying?
Yes.
Are
you fucking shitting me? Matey, I'm a pirate now, arr. What the fuck else can he say? Just his silence. I can hear it in this during his silence. Here's what I hear. Let's see if I can do a decent job with this.
And so then they have to go try to re-grab them. Yeah, and they're all the folks behind the scenes.
So that's kind of what I feel like he was doing in his mid. Not a good thing to do for a voice, by the way. I think I might have pulled it off, but I didn't quite do it how I wanted to do it because I probably would have burned myself out. Babylon Bee put out a very funny thing. Now, first, before I play the video of Babylon Bee, which is hysterically funny, you want to go to New Mexico. If you want to improve your life, go to New Mexico. But New Mexico tried to pass some lame-ass law. Babylon Bee is suing them. And it's something to the effect of, if you create a video with AI or if parody or whatever, and you use AI, then you have to like disclose that. And Babylon Bee's like, you kind of I mean, we're already a channel that marks ourselves as such, right? As satire. Marking the video as satire kind of, essentially, to put it the easy way, it kind of breaks the fourth wall. It sort of ruins the illusion of the satire by saying, this is satire. You're like, well, this is fake. Right? When you watch it and for a second you think it's real, That's what makes Babylon Bee so good. They're a satirical channel, so everything they do is satire. But sometimes when you see it, you might think it's true. Now you can see why New Mexico's, whoops, where'd it go? Here's where, yeah, here it is. You might be upset if you're a New Mexican. Or yeah, anywho, here it is. Come to New Mexico, it's a great place.
Tired of your ordinary, boring life in a red state? Why not visit New Mexico? New Mexico is a land of wide open possibility. Everywhere you look, you'll find space available. Wide open space. Space to find your own future. Space to find your own fortune, whether that's winning big at our beautiful casinos or doing things the old-fashioned way by starting your own business. Yes, sir. In New Mexico, there's space to dream. Dream big ideas like, what if you made an entire state of functioning alcoholics? Or what if you put green chilies in every single food known to man? Or maybe you would just dream what it would be like not having the Bill of Rights. Our governor and Supreme Court have you covered.
The New Mexico Supreme Court hereby rules against the Second Amendment, the First Amendment, or any other amendment that lets people do things.
Whatever your dream is, you can make it happen here. Because with New Mexico dead last in the country in education, you'll be the smartest person in the whole state. It's like that Idiocracy movie, only it's happening right now. Just don't bring your gun. We don't do that Second Amendment thing here, except when you're drunk and we forget, which happens a lot. It's why we lead the nation in alcohol-related deaths. That's how we got all that wide open space. So next time you want to visit Colorado but remember you're broke, come on down to New Mexico. Use this vacant land to stretch that entrepreneurial spirit. Feel what it's like to be the smartest person in the entire state. Come dream with us. What life could be without the Constitution, a 5th grade education, or general sobriety. This message brought to you by the state of New Mexico.
The sky is the limit. And yes, that video was parody. Not sure what of it was actually real and what wasn't. I don't know if the judge actually said that. That'd be kind of crazy if he did. I doubt it. I feel like that part's maybe AI, but if he actually said that, he should somehow lose his robes. Hawaii, we've talked about this article before, but it's just kind of funny. They've got this election commission, and then they've got the two groups. So we got Hawaii's election commissions. They're supposed to meet and carry out its responsibilities. The commission itself, or the Office of Elections that the commission was created to oversee. So you have the Office of Elections, and then you have this commission that's supposed to oversee them. But the Office of Elections right now is this guy. So they had their leader from the commission step down, retire. The commission needs to have a vote to get another officer. They're trying to get permission from the Office of Elections because somehow they have to ask for that because they have to get a list from them or some weird thing so they can let everybody know. The Office of Elections is refusing to do that, so the commission can't fulfill getting another officer in place. Now, the only workaround that exists is there has to be an officer in the commission, and then they can go this back-rooted path where they can somehow get a list from them, and then they can mail it out themselves, and they don't have to use the Office of Elections. Problem is, the Office of Elections won't let them get that seat filled, so there's no way to fulfill that ability. So right now, the Office of Elections is keeping the governing body that's supposed to actually look into whether or not they're doing what they're supposed to, they're keeping them from being able to. They've literally taken away their power. That's a communist move right there. That's pretty sweet. That's like straight out of Zelensky's playbook. That's pretty awesome. So good job there, Hawaii. That's aloha spirit for you right there. Couple cool things I want to point out. First off, OTFspecial.com. We had a pretty good showing of people that want to feel great. I'm really glad you guys did. 3 of you have won a 1-ounce silver coin. It's a beautiful thing. So 3 of you have won because you were enrolled in that wonderful little raffle, and I'm just stoked that they did this. So OTFspecial.com, OTFspecial.com. First off, an amazing product that helps you lose weight, helps you with cravings, helps you get over the problem that 94% of us have, which is insulin resistance. And it's a packet of stuff that tastes delicious, by the way. It's Unimate twice, right? Gives you energy, helps you, gets through cravings, maybe helps you eat less, wait to eat. Sometimes staying in ketosis is really good. Like for me, I'm not necessarily super overweight. In fact, I'm sort of the best shape I've been in a long time. It's kind of cool. And a lot of it's because of this. Even with some of my bad habits, I'm doing surprisingly well. But it helps with the energy. It helps me go longer without eating and still having energy and feeling really, really good. And so I can still kind of stay in that ketosis a little longer. And that actually helps burn fat. Ketosis is when your body switches over as a mechanism, as a chemistry, and starts burning fat cells instead of anything else. Sometimes it'll start burning on your muscle cells and other weird stuff, but that's what ketosis is. It switches to burning your fat cells. And for all of us that are trying to lose weight, that's where the magic happens. The longer you can stay in that period, the better. And that's how weight loss really occurs. This helps you with that. Then you have the balance, which you drink right before your dinner. It's like a fibrous mixture that kind of starts to expand. Well, it doesn't kind of, it totally starts to expand. You get that in your body as soon as possible, and it'll continue to kind of expand in your stomach. Then you eat your regular dinner, whatever the hell you normally eat. Eat it. Eat as much until you're full. And you're going to notice you get full a little sooner. This stuff is using science, so everything falls down into this matrix. And you'll notice that you actually start seeing your numbers drop. Your sugar levels will start to go where they should be. You'll start to notice your insulin levels will start to get where they should be. Your fatty levels, all right? People that are on statins are possibly worried about that. Your cholesterol levels will start to seem more normal as far as the tests are concerned. This product's amazing how it works, and it's reasonably simple how it is applied in our lives. But it's a process. And again, you don't change anything else. You don't get on any weird diets, nothing like that. So it's fantastic. OTFspecial.com, OTFspecial.com. And all right, so we've got our list. Here are the winners. And I apologize. They didn't give me full names for good reason. And they're going to reach out to you. All right, so it's not me announcing that necessarily, like if this for some reason could be 3 or 4 people in my audience. You're like, all of us won? No, probably not. Only one of you. But there are 3 of you. From Tennessee, we got a Rita W. Rita W. from Tennessee. Tim P. from Minnesota. Wow, I'm surprised there's 2 people from Minnesota at least that watch me. Wow, shocker. And this one, I'm not sure how to say. From Florida, Cecilia or Scylla, Y is supposedly the last letter, or the last name letter. But yeah, it's Cilla. You've got to know who you are, but you're in Florida. That's, not crocodile country. That's where you're, alligator country. That's how you spell your names. I understand. You add letters. So there you go. You are the 3 winners. Of course, they will be reaching out to you via email, and they will let you know officially. I am just announcing because they let me do that, and that was really cool. So I think they're going to send the emails probably tomorrow as far as you guys are concerned. But yeah, you'll be seeing that soon. Anyways, I do want to play just a quick one, and this is just such a great product. Let Katie talk about it because it's changed her life, and it's going to change yours too.
I'm 45. I'm a mom of 3. I work. I volunteer at church and school, and I have a wonderful husband. At the age of 23, I was diagnosed with PCOS and insulin resistance and was just given 2 medications. I didn't know what to do with those diagnoses. Fast forward about 16 years, and all of a sudden I was diagnosed with prediabetes. I was almost 100 pounds overweight. I had high cholesterol. I was still on those medications. Definitely not reversing any of my issues. I had tried Ozempic. I had tried every single diet out there because I was just focused on my weight. That was not the way to go about it. So I was introduced to the Feel Great system, and it really changed my life. It'll be 2 years in February that I have been using the Feel Great system. I have been able to reverse my prediabetes. So my A1C went from a 5.7 to a 5.1. I am no longer on metformin, which I took for 20 years. I'm no longer on Synthroid, which I took for my thyroid. My cholesterol numbers are all within optimal ranges. My triglycerides went down from over 200 to 53. I have lost almost 100 pounds. It's given me everything.
One thing a lot of people don't really realize, and again, I actually took nutrition classes. I actually worked in hospital food nutrition, and I was actually I was a diet tech. Diet clerk, not a tech or not a dietitian. So again, minimal, but certainly some college in nutrition. A lot of people consider it sort of generally right with normal foods, calories in, calories out. That's your calories in and calories burned is how you figure out whether you're going to gain weight or lose weight. So a lot of us that are just focusing on the weight, that wouldn't work if you ate like healthy, normal foods. If you are, then it should be kind of easy to moderate that stuff. You can do a little more exercise to help burn more. It works. If you're eating a lot of these processed foods, hyper-processed foods, and all that kind of stuff, it's a different set of rules. It's a different set of rules. Your body processes these things in very, very different ways. It's not normal food. In some cases, like Velveeta cheese says food product. It can't be called food. It can't be called that legally because it's not. Those are the things. By the way, it's a recipe thing. Like, it's every time I eat it, I'm like, I can't do this again for like another 6 months. Try to get all these toxins out of my body, but Velveeta and that stupid, damn, that cheese, man, or whatever that is, food product, melts like a mofo. OTFspecial.com. All you got to do is like breathe on it. It just melts. Oh, it's beautiful. OTFspecial.com. OTFspecial.com. This stuff is science. It'll help you get through this nasty problem, and you will notice the difference, and you will feel the difference. Again, OTFspecial.com. All right, not too much of that, I know, but still, I believe in these products, unfortunately. That's why it's so easy for me to do commercials for 12 hours. Dem candidate El Sayed blamed transgender mass shooting at Christian school on transgender legislation. So, if we pass anything that makes anyone upset, then it's justified if they go in and shoot up a bunch of people, is what El Sayed is saying. Good. Yeah, that's okay. Sure. That sounds, for the progressives and the democratic socialists and the communists, yeah, for sure. That's what they want to hear. Yay, kill people. I love that. Democrats spent $20 million on healthcare programs for just 173 people. And this is like, that's ridiculous. I 100% agree. $20 million for 173 migrants. That's asinine. But the real number that they were shooting for is fucking stupid too. It's not like they missed the mark that far. You'll be surprised. What were they going for? 300. So they got 173 out of 300. All right, fuck it. Let's call it 300. $20 million for 300? $2 million for 30. Like, that's just a shit ton of money. I guarantee you we could do it cheaper. All the waste, fraud, and abuse. It just gets me fired up. By the way, I think I covered this story. If not, I was talking to someone about it. The surrogate mom. Good job, Paxton. But she's a surrogate, and supposedly there's something wrong with the heartbeat or whatever, and the people that own the sperm and egg that she was carrying, they said, you got to abort it. And she's like, I'm not aborting the baby. Are you fucking high? There's no way. I don't do that. I don't abort. And they said, you have to. And they started this lawsuit or something weird. Ken Paxton stepped in, and she can keep the baby. I don't know what happens to the parents. I bet they have to pay for it now, which, oh, God, I love this stuff. I love how everything plays out. Anyway, David Ellison, he's the dude that the Paramount guy in this whole Paramount Skydance, or Bite Dance, or whatever it is, Warner Brothers. They're trying to finish up this merger. Europe's already approved it. Most everybody else has, except for California. And they're kind of dragging their feet, and if they drag their feet long enough, it actually costs this Ellison guy a lot of extra money, which is kind of effed up. I think somebody even pointed out the fact that you're messing with shareholders' money, and that shouldn't be okay to do either. Legally, a attorney general for a state shouldn't be able to hold up something that's literally going to cost shareholders insane amounts of money, only because they're pissed off about the deal. They're the only ones that haven't passed this. So Ellison's basically saying, if you guys slow walk this, we're definitely pulling out. And he's kind of giving them a list of stuff where he's going to be sort of cool. He's like, look, we want to keep some of the business here. No question about it. We'll keep more of it here if you aren't dicks. And then Rob Bontemps like, well, you're just trying to hold us over our head. Aren't you doing the same, Rob? It's either going to cost you guys billions and billions of dollars, or it's just going to cost you billions. Take your pick. So we'll see what happens, but yeah, they're talking about pulling out entirely, or mostly. I think they wanted to leave a small group here because there are some very key people that work in this area, and they're probably trying to hang on to them because they're talent. There's a lot of people that are uniquely good at what they do, like, probably some of the computer graphics stuff. Some of these people are probably very good at what they do. Nobody else can touch. They're genius, Gavin Newsom's bullet train, it's running out of money. Big time. Yeah. Big time, running out of money. 2027, the end of 2027, they're expecting to be completely broke. They've been trying to tout that they've managed to save money on the project. They're saying this. They're like, yeah, no, we're actually saving money. We figured out we're saving money. We've made smarter decisions, and we're going to save money. And what they did is they just shortened routes. So now it's just less expensive to create under the normal bloat. They're running out of money. Private investors and public investors aren't happening. And I don't think they can go back to the public and be like, hey, we need more money. It's a great idea. I mean, granted, we'll vote it down in the vote, but then the votes that come in by mail, it'll somehow pass. We're going to get a bond measure for another $1 trillion, and they're just going to suck all this money off the system. This is all fraud, waste, and abuse, and everything else. I'd love to know the percentages of the money that's, I'd probably just go on a tirade of friggin' F-bombs. I mean, it would be fun. Don't get me wrong. I'd hop on the F-bomb train any day of the week. The New York City EPA deterror tax is costing New York, this is Donald Trump saying this, is costing New York City and state fortune in that the money eventually to be gotten is very little compared to the taxes paid by the tens of thousands of people who are fleeing the city, never to return. Florida, Texas, and numerous other states are making an absolute fortune. This dangerous political experiment in New York will destroy what was once a great city and state. It is pure amateur hour, and it is hard as President of the United States of America to sit back and watch it happen, especially to a place I once loved. Financial and then social ruin is a 100% certainty. And then the radical left jihadists charge congestion pricing on top of everything else. This doesn't work in America and must be stopped. Now, I am looking to see if the federal government has any legal right to avert this disaster before it is too late. For the millions of people who cherish New York and want to see it thrive as opposed to becoming a filthy, crime-ridden, decrepit place of mockery and scorn, make America great again, President Trump. Yeah, it's definitely been that mockery part for a long time, I feel like. But he's going to be fighting it. We're going to see what's going to happen. We've got some very interesting situations going on with judges, too. We're going to get to that here in a little bit. Yeah, a little bit over here. The House Judiciary Committee just sent a letter to software company IDEMIA requesting information regarding New Jersey registering thousands of non-citizens to vote. Think about this. New Jersey is not going to give them the rolls, and New Jersey badmouthed these guys. So the Justice Department hits them up and says, hey, we want to get those records. Is that cool? The ones that they're claiming you guys fucked up? And IDEMIA is going to be like, hell yeah, let's do this. New Jersey's going to try to sue them, but I don't think there's an issue there because I'm pretty sure a lot of public data is available if you pay for it. Get all sorts of information on people. So yeah, that's happening. SPLC founder, or former SPLC CFO, I should say, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Heidi Barich has been arrested on federal fraud charges over an alleged scheme involving donor-funded payments to informants inside white supremacist groups. Again, we've talked about this before, but if you've been living under a rock, essentially they would go, all right, hey, Ku Klux Klan guy, here's what we want to do. We want to pay you $100,000 a year, and we need you to do cross burnings like every so often in just random places to make sure that everybody thinks racism is alive and well. If you can do a lynching or leave a noose somewhere or whatever, it's cool. We like it. If you do that, here's $100,000 a year. Guy's like, all right, whatever. Then the NPLC then goes to the government and says, look at all this racism. We have to pass all these laws. We have to make sure we restrict stuff. We have to do this, that, and the other thing. So they're milking it from both ends. Well, this biatch is getting arrested. I mean, she's maybe a really nice lady, but I doubt it. She doesn't have nice lady written on her face. She's got, I'm hungry, written on her face.
Sealed a case against the former chief financial officer of the Southern Poverty Law Center. Can you please speak a little bit about what you've learned as part of that investigation and if we should expect more charges?
So yes, today, my understanding is today there was an arrest made and there is a new indictment that includes the former CFO of SPLC. I don't have any comments about whether, we've said from the beginning, everybody, not just me, but anybody who's talked about this case, like virtually every criminal case, the fact that an indictment is returned doesn't end the investigation. It's just part of the investigation in most cases, which is certainly true in this case. I think as alleged in the indictment, this individual participated in the scheme as alleged. I believe she was part of the effort to open bank accounts in completely fictitious companies' names and make payments to individuals for reasons that were not that were not accurate as described. But I don't have. I think the indictment was unsealed this morning. I believe it was unsealed this morning. I think the arrest was this morning. I don't have anything to say beyond that, except to say that this is exactly what we said would happen in a case like this, which is that our investigators and the U.S. attorneys and the agents working the case can keep on working it even after the initial indictment.
AKA, we got more people we're going to arrest. We ain't even done yet, dude. You guys ain't even seen nothing yet. And I like Todd Blanche. I like Todd Blanche a lot. I liked Pam Bondi, too, if I remember her last name. I liked her, too. I get why people didn't, for where we were at the time, I don't know. I felt like things were handled as they were. And I think they needed to be. And so it's all good. It's all good. We'll see how these things continue to play out in the big picture. Yeah, Todd Blanche. I think I got another thing of Todd Blanche talking about something. The Senate has stalled an $833 monthly boost for disabled veterans. I guess there's some discussion on where the money's going to come from, but ultimately they're well, I'm not saying they're trying to get you $833. This is for severely disabled veterans, by the way, which I would assume there's a couple of y'all out there. But yeah, this is or the family members that are living with an individual as such. And again, thank you guys for your service and unfortunateness that's come from it. Hopefully the Senate will do what they need to when they finally come back from recess. I hope they enjoyed the swing set while they were out there. Judge is partly rejecting Minnesota's bid to block Trump's admin Title IX rules on trans students. He's basically saying, look, you didn't make a good case for why we should stop it. There's been no harm done yet, but they left the thing intact, the $2.9 billion of federal funding that's being withheld because of this. So they're leaving that part alive. So this, I don't know if this is going to get. I think they're expecting this to probably get to appeals court at some point. But yeah, they left intact that part. We'll see how that plays out. Yeah, they will be throwing that up to a appellate court. Anyway, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a journey, I should say. Hollywood goes quiet as stars rethink speaking out on politics. Please, thank you. Thank you so much. Especially you guys that are kind of central left even, or sort of left-ish, but not crazy left, not like Bruce Springsteen left, just, not The View left. If you're not there, then shut up. You're likely going to piss off one side or the other, period. End of story. And you don't sell movies, man. You see what's happening to Hollywood. You see what's happening to box office. You see what's happening to stupid-ass movies they're making. So finally, we're winning, I think, something. They're finally shutting the hell up. Good for them. All right, here's the thing. Judge blocks U.S. Postal Service from restricting mail-in voting. She says the U.S. Constitution assigns this to individual states. Not quite, but there is a sort of a side to this that I think the Supreme Court's going to have to help with. And there's no way that the Supreme Court can't really vote on it properly. They have to. It's going to probably be an 8-1 thing. It is not fair for a very heavily populated state to be able to flood an inordinate amount of ballots into an election that's federal that affects the federal vote. Meaning, I, as California, if I drop an extra 20 million ballots that maybe are just illegal people that I believe should have the right to vote, but they're not citizens, which we'll get there, then they don't legally have a right to vote in a federal election. But you're letting them because you think it's okay. That's definitely not okay. We'll get there. And so you strip 20 million legitimate voters across the nation of a vote, especially if they're opposition, only if they're opposition, I guess. And that is not what the founders ever had in mind. You should not be able to just poll ridiculous numbers of people and then suddenly you get to make the rules for the entire country. That is what democracy is, by the way, and that is certainly what they push, the Democratic Socialists of America, communist. So, U.S. Constitution assigns that to the individual. Yeah, well, not quite. Not quite. In fact, let's see if I can get to it, though. Where's one? A couple places, there's 13 places where election shows up or something to that effect. So when vacancies happen, representation from the states and blah, 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 they're going to figure it out. Cool. The Senate, immediately after shall be assembled the consequence of the first election, blah, blah, blah. All right, it's nothing that we're really looking for, okay? The next one is elections. Time, place, and manner of holding elections for senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof, but the Congress may at any time by law make or alter such regulations except as to the place of abusing senators. This is where the Save America Act comes in. And Congress, Senate, refusing to pass it because this is overwhelmingly popular with people. They say they keep using a Fox News poll. So I don't know, the 8173 number or 8171 number. It's a fucking Fox News poll. So whatever. Probably well over 50% of Democrats are cool with having an ID and making sure it's legit. And an overwhelming number of Republicans and certainly a lot of independents, I would assume almost all independents are also on board with, show an ID. So Congress could easily make this simpler and choose not to. Now, again, I'm not going to blame John Thune. I'm going to blame the Republicans. There's 5 or 6 of them that refuse to vote for it because they're rhinos, because they're deep state, and they don't want to be called out for it. They don't like the fact that we're even having this conversation. Shut up and just let things keep going the way they are is what they're saying. So, powers and duties of Congress. Each house shall be the judge of the elections, returns, and qualifications of its own members. So the House has the ability to push it back, right? We've talked about that. I think the Senate as well. They can actually say, no, we don't certify these votes. So there's that option. Section 2 of the 14th Amendment. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states, but when the right to vote at any election of the choice of electors for the Vice President and President of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of the state, or members of the legislature thereof, is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state being 21 years of age and citizens. This is basically saying if you're over 21 and all that, you have to be able to vote if you're a citizen. It does specify citizen, by the way. So we got that one, which is kind of not really relevant. A 17th Amendment to senators from each state elected by the people, 6 years for each. This is an amendment they added. Initially, this was chosen. Senators were chosen by the House. They got rid of that, and they changed it to 6 years. It didn't used to be that either. So this was a big deal, and the 17th Amendment passed, by the way. Not a good one, per se. Down here, 23rd Amendment. This one's fun. The district constituting the seat of the government of the United States shall appoint in such manner as Congress may direct. A number of electors of a president or vice president equal the whole number of senators Anyway, this has to do, I think, with the number of electors appointed. So, sorry, that's a different one. Then the 24th Amendment. This is the one I thought we were doing. The right of citizens of the United States. The right of citizens of the United States to vote in any primary or other election for president or vice president, for electors for president or vice president, or for senator or representatives in Congress shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state by reason of failure to pay poll tax or other tax. But they still call out that they need to be a citizen, right? And then you can't charge a tax to go vote, which is fine, right? I think that's the last one. 27th, no law varying the compensation for the services of the senators and representatives shall take effect until after the election of representatives has intervened. So again, the Constitution's not really cut and dry on the fact that a state could actually cheat so badly, and I don't think that was something they ever thought of. Like, oh, they'll bring in millions of people from another country to vote. Like, that would be absurd in thought, but the founding fathers were pretty sharp. So, also, Trump administration is pressing the Supreme Court to swiftly reinstate President Trump's election integrity executive order and to clarify that its decision should also lift Judge Indira Talwani's new nationwide injunction against the USPS That's where they have to have a barcoded and a list of legitimate people and barcoded ballots, and they're mailed and they're handled that way. Very secure, very regulated. And the states don't like that because that will fuck up the cheating. California will be screwed if this goes into effect. What California will do, and I don't think they'll be able to, and then they'll probably get sued because it'll take them 6 months to count the votes, and they'll literally be holding up the election for 6 months, the one state, because they're going to use some outside vendor other than USPS, and they're not going to be able to handle it. And they'll be caught cheating. There's no way. I mean, it's just, there's no way. So Donald Trump says also something that's kind of cool. Parents can now sue states if they don't allow their children to opt out of vaccines. A lot of powerful things are going on right now with Trump.
Separate visits for vaccines rather than giving them all in the same day. Very importantly, vaccinations for hepatitis B, COVID-19, and influenza, among others, are no longer recommended for all children. In addition, this executive order directs the Attorney General to advance legal challenges against states that violate children's rights to religious or medical vaccination exemptions for the exemptions. Other countries.
Yeah, exemptions. Important. So, other countries give 11 and we give something like 77 or something weird like that. Some like crazy number. Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. So, good stuff. And I don't really know why that one was there. It doesn't seem like it should have been. Federal appeals court strikes down Biden administration's gas stove rule. It was a 3-0 ruling that only affects Louisiana, Mississippi, Montana, Nebraska, Tennessee, Texas, and Utah. I mean, good for you guys. I'm sure California's like, nope, still got to get rid of them, or can't buy a new one. They make things impossible. They did it with our air conditioner. I had to buy a new air conditioner at one point because they didn't carry the Freon anymore. And I know there's people out there be like, dude, you should have called me, man. I could have got it to you. Yeah. California, man, they're crazy. FBI had 14 informants on Biden corruption, but ran secret op to dismiss evidence as disinformation. So all the people that were bringing out information, they were literally labeling them as pro-Russian assets, if you will. And then they were listing all the people on their side of the fence, Hillary Clinton and everybody else, as the ones that Russia was attacking. So they just made it a us against them thing all over the place. And this was pretty freaking stupid. But yeah, it's what they did. It's what the Biden administration, we're the ones politicizing everything. I know, obviously. They're hypocrites. Jeanine Pirro is convening a special grand jury to, we think, well, we don't know for sure what it has to do with. Many people are suspicious it has to do with the pool. Here's the thing. I feel like that the pool is such a cool cover for something else that I'm betting it's something else, kind of. We'll see. They've convened a special grand jury, a rare legal body that officials say could pave the way for federal prosecutions in the nation's capital to investigate some of its biggest and most controversial cases. Trump set this up. He teed this up. This is not what people are going to spin it as. Trust me, you're going to see everybody say this is because of the pool and they're going to go after that Olympian canoeist bastard. I don't think so. I don't think Trump actually gave a shit about that guy that much. Especially if it's like small potatoes fixing that pool. That was a bigger deal. No, they use that as cover. DOJ is announcing charges in a Chinese national marriage fraud scheme. This was the other Blanche thing I thought I had. Here it is.
More than 1,000 sham marriages between Chinese nationals and United States citizens, and then the submission of fraudulent applications for green cards. This is one of the largest marriage fraud prosecutions in United States history. This scheme was not a quick fly-by-night operation, but rather a years-long, multi-million-dollar cottage industry to criminally assist people who would not or legally could not otherwise become citizens of the United States. The men and women who facilitated this scheme were all naturalized citizens originally from China and one green card holder. Under President Trump's leadership, the Department of Justice is working alongside our partners at DHS to secure the border and protect American communities, something that was ignored during the last administration. Not only are we protecting our physical borders from unlawful crossings, but we are also preventing immigration fraud schemes that are just another way to skirt the immigration laws of the United States. As alleged, some of the charged defendants acted as facilitators who orchestrated the marriage fraud scheme pairing foreign nationals seeking immigration status with United States citizens willing to participate and engage in a sham marriage. These facilitators employed attorneys, tax preparers, and marriage officiants. Some of the other charged defendants acted as recruiters by finding and recruiting United States citizens to participate in the scheme, and other defendants acted as officiants, officiating dozens of these alleged.
I love it, man. He's just like, he can just put you to sleep with that legal talk, right? I also like how his clothes don't seem to fit him properly. It makes it look like he's a working guy. You know what I mean? It doesn't make him look like he's rich. I'm sure the dude's a gazillionaire. But he's, yeah, I like him. I like Todd Blanche. Donald Trump, he's talking about this plane switcheroo that happened in Turkey. Check it out.
Well, it's only up to Secret Service. I just follow what they'd like to do. So I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, equal safety, but they wanted me to do it, so I do it. I do what they say.
What's the nature of the threat?
I guess there was a threat out there. I didn't really ask too much about it. I get a lot of threats.
Trump was hoping they were going to blow up the plane with all the press on it. It's like, oh, that'd be cool. It'd be worth the loss of the plane. And we could go to war with whoever. You know, that'd be rad. Go ahead and kill all the press. That would probably... I mean, we would have lost a couple good ones. I'm sure that lovely Asian lady from One American News or whatever the hell. Yeah, I wouldn't want to see her gone. No, that would be unfortunate. Record low Rhine levels disrupt raw material flows to Europe's largest steel-making plant. This is happening all over the place, and they're trying to spin it as global warming. This is definitely, it's got to be dams holding additional water upstream. Has to be, because it's happening all over the place, and it's not. There's a water cycle. I know there's typhoons. There's flooding in the Philippines. There's flooding in China. There's flooding in Japan. There's this thing called the water cycle. There's no loss of water. We do have idiot politicians in this country that will just drain water off into the ocean because they'd rather have a problem so they can charge money for it. So we're seeing it all over, and we're seeing it in the worst places. And I say worst, meaning the most progressive communist places. Germany, France, here. What was it, Colorado, I want to say is one of them, or at least downstream. I forget what the third one was. Or fourth one, I should say. It was the third one I heard about. That's why it popped into my head that way. But I don't know, whatever. There's a few of them going on right now. Anthropic goes on a charm offensive with investors ahead of a massive IPO that could rival SpaceX. And SpaceX is under its IPO offering, by the way. And your 401ks are going to force buy you into this, by the way. And it's going to be great at first. It's going to go up at first because all the people are going to sell at the top, people that had this stock already. And then when your 401k or IRA is forced to kind of buy in because it's the new thing on the block, then you're going to help push that stock up. The other people are going to sell out, and then you're going to see the price fall back down. Again, we've got a giant AI bubble. It's probably necessary, don't get me wrong, but it's going to suck if you've got a retirement account. Your Anthropic numbers and SpaceX numbers are not real good right now. And Anthropic's about to do what SpaceX did here coming up. So it's something to keep in mind. Stock market's pretty flat today. Yeah, it's real flat, I guess. Reminds me of my first girlfriend. Well said. Silver was sitting up, I think, a little bit right now, 65, and we've got gold sitting at 44.73. So things are, I don't know, they've sort of bottomed out and starting to come back up. We'll see. They've still got a ways to go from what we understand to be the case. Again, if you got a 401k or an IRA, I don't know if you want to stay like fully loaded into that system, especially with this Anthropic thing coming up. Again, Anthropic in 3 years from now probably be good, but you're going to buy in at a pretty high price. It's going to take a while to get that money back. What you could do is protect that buying power because inflation's happening. It's still happening. Trump's doing a good job at keeping it down, but ultimately this system is collapsing. It's a house of cards, and it's not stable. You don't want to have your money locked up in that unstable part of it. You want to have physical precious metals, and that's literally what they are. They're physical metals. They can't give them to you. They're put into a trust. They're put into a location, a safe, basically. You can't have it. If you have it, that's a payout. And this is pre-tax money. So the rule on pre-tax money has nothing to do with Goldco. The rule on pre-tax money is if you get it. So if you need to cash out and you're broke right now, that's a different option. I'm not giving you financial advice, but don't try to turn it into precious metals first. That's a stupid idea. Worry about getting the cash. You're going to get reamed, though. You'll get penalized, yes, unless you're proper age. And you're also going to get taxed heavily. Well, you get taxed on it. It's all income. Depending on how much you pull out, that's how much you're going to get taxed. That's it. That's the rules, how it works. That's why we use 401k and IRA. It's a way to defer tax. You make a couple extra bucks, you pull it out of your taxable income. Now you didn't have to pay tax on it. You defer that, and you let that tax-free money kind of, have fun. Fill in 4 data points. You're going to get your data, your kit. Learn how this stuff works, right? They're going to do it tax-free, penalty-free for you. They're also going to give you up to 10% free silver. So say it's $250,000, you're getting 25 grand in free silver. Now, if you kind of hit the jackpot, if you will, $500,000, I think is what you, they changed it. Good job. I like that. Now it's $250,000. Much better. So $250,000, $25,000 in free silver they're going to give you, and you're going to get this $3,000 solar generator. This thing's awesome. It's a giant battery that you can charge with solar panel that they give you, all that stuff. Charge up a laptop, charge up phones. You could even do a hot plate. You lose power, something happens. This thing's awesome. Keep it charged. You've got power no matter what. You could even probably run some flat panel TVs off it. You could certainly charge your pads, iPads, all that kind of crap. You definitely want to check into the possibility of protecting a good chunk of your wealth and getting a couple little sweeties on the side, if you don't mind. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that freaking system. It's teetering. There's enough writing on the wall. Everybody should see it. Trump is not trying to save the Federal Reserve note. And the stock market's all sorts of crazy. And Europe is falling apart. They don't have a Trump. Europe's going to come crashing down at some point, and that's going to bring a lot of shizzle with it. Trump's got us in the right place. It's not going to hurt us nearly as bad as it hurts other people, but it is going to hurt us. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Let my good friends at Goldco help you protect your wealth. That's what they're good at. They can't give advice. They can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what, they can make this process seamless and easy and fast, and you're going to love it. DRSlikesgold.com, and 5-star ratings to back it up. They know what they're doing. These guys are really good at what they do. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. Donald Trump truthed this out today at my direction. Dr. Mehmet Oz announced that Medicaid will no longer fund gender transition surgeries and hormones for minors. There you go. A whole bunch of extra words. Not necessary to read them all. You get the big picture. This was put out. The largest ivermectin cancer study in history just dropped. This is kind of a crazy little thing. Check this out.
Just published the largest real-world study on the ivermectin and methimazole for cancer. We had 200 cancer patients. We found 84.4% of them benefited in their cancer treatment. So half of them actually either their cancers disappeared reportedly and went away, no evidence of disease it's called, or the tumors shrank. It's called tumor regression. And again, that was about half. And then 36% the tumors stabilized, the cancer stabilized, it stopped spreading. So 84.4% of those individuals benefited.
Now, I just got a quick question for any of you guys out there. Just in for chat or whatever, if you don't mind. Whoops. Where is it? Where was it? There it is. So in chat, if you guys don't mind, real quick, how many of you guys, first thing that popped into your head, and it might not be many of you, maybe it was just crazy stuff going in Dan's head, but you saw this thing and it was all putting its stuff all over this and then like sucking up on it. How many of you are like Spider-Man? Totally. Go ahead, type in Spider-Man if you don't mind. And then the other question, and maybe against neither of these, maybe it's neither Spider-Man nor Money Shot. That's what I kept seeing. Money Shot. Anywho, let me see. Let's play this part again.
Them benefited in their cancer treatment, so half of them.
I'm not making that up. I don't think. No. I mean, I'm a sick bastard. Sure. Trust me, there's some people that appreciate that about me. I'm loved in the right places. Argentina joins U.S.-led coalition declaring no international right to abortion. Good job. This is Argentina's Milei. He's still there, right? He's the chainsaw guy, right? Who's the one that got rocked? Oh yeah, Jair Bolsonaro. That's right. Hungary. That was a bummer. We liked him. That new Hungary guy sucks balls. Russia agrees to repurpose strategic military bases in the post-Assad Syria. Syria is majorly changing. This is phenomenal and fantastic. They're leaving the deep state, and they're actually starting to clean up their mess. It seems Russia is going to its multipolar, everybody's going to their multipolar thing, and they're kind of like, all right, Syria, you do your thing. We're going to pull out. They're leaving some troops there, but they're taking a large portion. Now, it is unfortunate for Russia. They're losing one of their, I think their only deep water ports in, I think, the Mediterranean, but they can either make a deal with somebody else or they've got stuff that's close enough. But this, again, you want deep water ports where you can refuel and park stuff for a little while, give people a break. Trump strikes a deal to remove nuclear materials from the secret Syrian storage site. This is also fascinating. Curious to see what, and I think everyone's probably curious to see who they got this stuff from, or did they make it themselves, or, right? So there's a lot of questions as to, again, the deal, the Uranium One deal that Hillary Clinton made, and Rosatom. It'd be interesting to see where this stuff comes from. I think there's a couple different sources of material that are floating around out there. One of them is Russian, I'm pretty sure, from that Uranium One deal. I actually kind of think that's what's in Iran. And they have, or maybe us. Actually, Iran might be us. That would almost make sense. Maybe Syria is the one that's got the Russian stuff. I think ultimately we want to see where it's from. Every bit of nuclear material that's out there, you can very easily tell where it came from. Very easily. You can tell where it was mined, and you can tell where it was refined. Both. Easily. I could explain some of it, but I wouldn't want to try to bore the shit out of people trying to. And then I would fuck up other parts of it anyways. I don't know it that well. But you can tell. You can totally tell by the isotopic count, the refinery levels. There's some other telltale stuff that goes with it. I think certain percentages of which kinds of isotopes are in there, which I sort of was under the isotopic count. Anyway, Turkey thinks Israel fabricated Trump Air Force One assassination plot. Israel's doing some weird stuff right now. It's like, trust us, we want help, there's something going on between Israel and Trump that's never going to get called out. Now, everybody thinks Trump is playing for Israel. Anybody that's saying that is wrong, is wrong. And again, they might be people you like. That's cool. I don't care who you believe. That's fine. Believe what you want to believe. But Trump is definitely not. Trump is worried about the United States. Israel's worried about Israel. And Trump is not carrying water for Israel. In fact, Israel is definitely showing signs that it's the other way around. They're not going crazy in Lebanon. They're not going crazy in a number of places. Why? Because Trump straight up told them, you keep doing that, we are pulling shit from you, dude. Stop it. You're making this impossible for me. So, there are problems in paradise. Donald Trump posted this. The USA has total control over the Strait of Hormuz. I think I will keep it. Our naval blockade is being called by everyone a wall of steel, and there is nothing Iran can do about it. They have no navy, they have no air force, their remaining soldiers are unpaid, the IRGC is decimated and fleeing, and their leadership is uncertain at best. They have no money, the country is shot. All they have is fake news and 300% inflation and getting worse. Iran is all talk and no action. The bully of the Middle East no longer. Praise be to Allah. President Donald J. Trump. I love when he says praise be to Allah too, because I think it pisses people off on the conservative side a little bit. And they shouldn't be. Allah is just another language saying God, just like Dios or Dio in Greek. If you say that, is that okay? Yeah, that's God, right? Or was it Allah? Allah is just another language for God. Whatever. I've drawn blanks on the Dios. Ideos mio, right? Oh my God. So again, it's just another word for God in another language. Doesn't make it a bad word just because it happens to be people we don't like. That's why I love it. I love it. I think it's cool. So, former Mossad chief says spies toured Iran's Fordo nuclear site many times. So they gave all sorts of secrets to Trump. They explained what it was all about. They'd apparently been inside. We don't know exactly how or when or how, why. I feel like I said a few of those a couple times. Whatever. So they've been there. They knew what was up. Not recently. It's been blowed up. But they had a very, very good idea of where the important stuff was and passed that information along, probably quite accurately for that matter. Ukraine is suspending its attacks on tankers using the Russian Black Sea port. J.D. Vance said, look, bro, you got to stop doing this. You're actually messing with the global oil supply right now in a big way. You're just blowing stuff up willy-nilly. You really got to stop it. And they're like, all right, we'll stop doing it. But we're still going to blow up Russia's stuff coming to Russia or whatever, you know. And it's like, okay, whatever. Just stop blowing up other people's stuff. One, you're pissing off people that need to be your alliances. But two, you're fucking everything up. Stop it, Zelensky. So he's supposedly going to chillax on that a little bit. Swedish Prime Minister calls Spanish illegal immigrant amnesty a very bad idea. Really? What gave it away? What? Huh. Geez. Sounds like he's a sort of smart guy. Ulf Christofferson, or whatever his name is. The Spanish foreign minister claims all illegal migrants in Ceuta will be sent back. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see, buddy. We'll see. Talk is cheap, my friends. Actions speak louder than words. Louder than a lot of things. Spreading the love, one might say. UK's new leftist government says middle-class areas need to take more asylum seekers to play their part, which means they're trying to fuck up the middle-class areas because there'll be more crime, there'll be more theft. They're trying to destroy the middle class. You're either going to be rich in your gated communities where there's no asylum seekers, get out of here, or you're fucked. This is just to my English people that are British people that are out there listening. Guys, stop being cunts, all of you. I feel like I could say that to you. This is literally in your hands. So, take your country back. I don't know what to tell you. It's going to be a while before we have time to get there and do it ourselves. So, get on it. Josh Kushner, Bob Iger stunned sports world with record-shattering $12.5 billion. It's actually, I believe, $12.5 billion Lakers buyout. In 1 year's time, the guy that bought it before them, he bought it for $10 billion, has now within 1 year sold them for $12.5 billion. Not a bad take, right? 1 year, you made $2.5 billion in profit. Not too shabby, I would say. Let's see. Hundreds of thousands of Uber and Lyft drivers are set to unionize across California. This is just going to be insane. It's going to cause Lyft and Uber drives to cost even more money. And there's a lot of people that don't have cars, and this is kind of how they get around it. California obviously doesn't like that. They want you to take the bus. And this is going to force a lot of people into that pattern, by the way. And it's funny. It's all the people that are like, we got to raise minimum wage. It's like, this is the people you're fucking. These are the same people you're fucking. Good job, Gavin Newsom. You are Karen Bass, all you stupid-ass whores. Ugh. I think this is hilarious. Fever Coach. WNBA stuff's pissing me. I never watch this, so I don't care about it. If it's just the drama is cracking me up. Fever Coach Stephanie White tells detractors to go to hell, meaning any of us that are like, you shouldn't have men and women's sports. But then when you look at this face in this Adam's apple, well, yeah, no wonder the dude's got a problem with transgenders and or us being pissed off about trannies in the WNBA. This is a dude. Of course. And now it's funny, in one of my YouTube channels, the friggin' check for the community violations is going to take 14 hours. I'm not trying to be mean towards the people. I'm cool if you want to be transitioned, but women's sports, I'm sorry, I know that's not popular to say. It should be women. I don't care if it's coach is a man or a woman. I don't care. That doesn't matter. But the players themselves, it does. WNBA players are, their union is paralyzed on how to define a woman and what's going to happen because they've got these NBA players that are going to come in that are going to try out. And they're going to destroy everyone else. Destroy them. It's going to be awesome. So, I don't know. Well, I hope they let them play and just have them grow their hair out or, I don't know, put them a wig on or whatever the shit they got to do to make themselves look more feminine. Have at it. Homeschool families are pushing for high school sports participation. That's a neat idea. I don't know. I never really thought about it, I guess. But it does make sense. If you're homeschooling your kid, you generally don't get allowed to play in any reindeer games, right? You can't put your kid in varsity sports if you're homeschooling them. And they do miss out on an actually very important part, I think, of the evolution of ourselves. Certainly boys. Boys do well in team sports. It teaches us a lot of things. But what is interesting that really jumped out at me was Tim Tebow. I didn't realize he was allowed to do this in Florida or whatever, and because of that, he was able to actually make it into a college and Heisman Trophy winner and all this great stuff. He was homeschooled because of his Christian beliefs, and it's probably why he was, not nearly as jacked up as many of these other players. So it's kind of cool. And there's a lot of places that literally just will not let you do that. I think California is one of those wonderful states, as well as a whole bunch of other. Here it is: California, Maryland, New York, Oklahoma, and Virginia. They said they're barred from public sports because they don't like it when you do that. They want to control your education. They want to make your child stupid. They don't want anybody that's going to be like smart, because then you're going to succeed in life, and the rest of the people that we're graduating are going to fail in life. And yeah, that's exactly how that happens. A lot happening this week, guys. I've got a great music show coming up again. Rolling Stones Friday. I got a show Thursdays on the Thursday's Hot Topics. We'll see what's coming up. It's hard to say exactly. I don't have anything that's jumping out at me yet, but it's going to be a good show always. And we had a fun one last night. Hopefully you guys will join us for those. They're always 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Easterns when they start. Tuesday, Thursday, Hot Topics, and then Friday is music, and all the same times. So again, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central. That's when the show starts, usually about an hour plus. All said, I love you guys. We're going to keep fighting the fight, and I'm going to be here to try to help the best I can every step of the way. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.